Hi, as a follow-up to the last section, I want to remind you about the problem that's pointed out here in the Gemara with a treifa sheharag et hashalem, someone who is going to die very shortly, who kills someone, murders someone with a normal life expectancy. It's explained in the Rashi on Ma'av Dinan Lei. And in order to understand this, you have to remember the concept of Eidim Zomemin, Eidim that are found to have falsified their testimony because a second set of witnesses come and say, actually, you were with us at that time, we saw you in a different place at that time, and so you couldn't possibly have witnessed this criminal act. In that case, those Eidim get ka'asher zamam la'asot le'achav, they get what they had plotted to do to the person. So if they were trying to convict that person of a capital crime, they themselves get capital punishment. Only it doesn't work with a treifa, and Rashi explains why. Ma'av dinan lei, ha'gavra ktilahu. He is essentially a dead man. The treifa is essentially a dead man. V'havale edut she'iyata yachola hazima. And so this is testimony that cannot be subject to the rule of Eidim Zomemin. Eidim Zomemin, because if witnesses testify against the treifa, you murdered so-and-so, and then they're found to have falsified their testimony, pturim, they are exempt. They don't get any punishment. Degavrei ktila ba'al miktal, because a dead man was the one they wanted to kill. In other words, when they testified against the treifa, they weren't really going to inflict the death penalty because that person was going to die anyway. And therefore, we can't give them the death penalty for having falsified testimony. And therefore, their testimony cannot go through hazamah, and that makes it invalid testimony. Any testimony that cannot go through hazamah is not valid testimony. And therefore, he too is patur. Like the treifa himself, everyone involved is patur. And that is actually explained in the Gemara in Sanhedrin. So the problem, again, with trying to convict a treifa for murdering a shalem is not what you would think, like sort of why bother to convict him, he's going to die anyway, but rather any testimony brought against this treifa will not be valid testimony because you couldn't do to the witnesses that which they had plotted to do to the suspect, to the defendant. Okay, we'll stop there.